Welcome to this practical explainer. If you are navigating the asylum system in Spain, things just changed in a big way. As of June 12, 2026, Spain officially started applying brand new procedures under the EU Pact on Migration and Asylum. Specifically, we're talking about EU Regulations 2024/1348 and 2024/1351. Now, I know that sounds like a heavy dose of legal jargon, but don't worry. My goal today is to translate this new bureaucratic reality into a highly focused, practical, step-by-step guide. We're cutting out all the academic theory and getting straight to the checklist of exactly what you need to know.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll look at starting the application, the border asylum procedure, the accelerated examination procedure, the ordinary procedure, your procedural rights, and finally, an official disclaimer. Let's jump in.
Step 1. Starting your application.
So, you want to start the process. First rule, you literally have to be there. Physical presence is absolutely mandatory. You can't just apply online, and you definitely can't send a representative or a friend to submit the paperwork for you. You must show up in person. But, and this is a huge relief, there's a massive safeguard built in for you right from the jump. Free legal aid is mandatory. The system actually requires you to have legal assistance from the very first moment, meaning you do not have to figure this out alone.
Step 2. The border asylum procedure.
So who actually goes through this border track? Well, it applies specifically if you do not have entry authorization and you failed to meet the border requirements of EU Regulation 2016/399. Basically, if you're submitting your application right at a border crossing point, or maybe you were intercepted after an unauthorized crossing, disembarked after a rescue at sea, or relocated, this is the path you're on.
Now, if you are on this border track, you're on a very strict, ticking clock. We are talking specifically about calendar days here, which means yes, weekends totally count. You have exactly 4 calendar days for the initial examination. If you need to file a reconsideration request during the appeal period, you have just 2 calendar days to do it. The administration then has 2 calendar days to notify you. Overall, they aim to resolve things within 6 weeks, but the absolute maximum total time this procedure can drag on for, including judicial review, is 12 weeks. So you'll really want to keep a close eye on this timeline.
Here's a fascinating little detail about how the bureaucracy works here. The decision-making power actually shifts hands depending on the clock. During those highly critical first 4 days, the call is made by the Director General de Protection International, which translates to the Director General of International Protection. But if your case extends past that initial window, the authority officially transfers over to the Subsecretaría del Interior, the Undersecretary of the Interior.
Step 3. The accelerated examination procedure.
Path number 2 is the procedimiento de examen acelerado, or the accelerated examination procedure. This track is triggered for some very specific reasons. If your application needs to be processed urgently, or if it hits specific inadmissibility grounds clearly outlined under the new EU Regulation 2024/1348, you're going to be routed directly here.
Step 4. The ordinary procedure.
Finally, we have the procedimiento ordinario, the ordinary procedure. Honestly, this is kind of the standard track. If your application falls completely outside of that border context we discussed earlier, you'll end up here. It's processed under Articles 24 and 25 of Spain's Law 12/2009. Just remember that as of the June 12, 2026 rollout, those exact articles are now interpreted directly in line with the new EU rules.
Step 5. Your procedural rights.
Regardless of which of those 3 paths you're on, you have some rock-solid safety nets built into the system. As we said right at the beginning, legal assistance is completely mandatory, and you are guaranteed free legal aid under Spanish legislation. Also, the UNHCR can be granted access to your process, though this strictly requires your prior consent. If they are involved, the UNHCR has an explicit right to be heard before any inadmissibility or rejection decisions are made. And if things just don't go your way, you're guaranteed the right to judicial review under Article 67.7 of EU Regulation 2024/1348. You definitely have legal protections designed to ensure a fair process.
Important official disclaimer.
Before we finish up, a quick but absolutely critical reality check. Everything we just went over provides informational guidance derived straight from the official Spanish government document, the Instrucción de 11 de junio de 2026, BOE A 2026-12855. But, and I cannot stress this enough, this is not legal advice. The system moves fast and every single case is completely unique. Always verify the details with official Spanish authorities and your assigned legal counsel.
So, we've covered the core requirements, the 3 distinct procedures, and those lightning-fast border timelines. But if you take just one thing away from this explainer today, let it be this: you have the right to guaranteed, mandatory legal aid from the very first moment. Take a deep breath. With this roadmap in hand and a dedicated professional by your side, are you ready to take action on your application? Thanks so much for joining me to break this all down, and I wish you the absolute best of luck with your process.
That was a quick overview. On our website you'll find step-by-step guides to many procedures: the Padrone, the health card, the NIE, the TIE, legalization, and more. The link is in the description. And if you get stuck, message our Telegram bot. We'll walk you through for free, step by step.